many women that they feel like they have to be strong. They feel like they have to stay in situations that don't serve them. They feel like they have to, they feel like they have to fix everything. When Black women, we carry the burden of always wanting to be the superhero in the family, where we're protecting our spouses, our children, our mental health, and it had a tremendous effect on her even showing up as her true self. Why is it that women, they settle, they stay in situations that don't serve them, and in the end they become another form or a half form of themselves?
I knew that I was going to have to teach my audience or the viewer to unlearn all of those exploitive images and start to see Black women seeing each other. You're still going to step forward in that desire? What does the Black woman sound like when she is experiencing pleasure?
Não precisa reproduzir ou escrever o cinema com os códigos que estão pré-estabelecidos.
We don't need to make movies using the days, language, and codes as we were taught.
Porque se a gente pensa que somos corpos diferentes,
because if we think we are different bodies,
e se a gente entende que a câmera é uma extensão do nosso corpo,
and if we understand that the camera is an extension of our bodies,
nosso corpo e nossa câmera vai se mover diferente.
Our body and our cameras will move differently.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Other Worlds panel discussion. My name is Janae Afia Matthews, and I will be your moderator and journey leader, flow leader through this process. I am also the strategic director at the Black Femme Supremacy Film Festival. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you a few housekeeping notes, let you know what's going on with us, and then we'll begin. The Black Femme Supremacy Film Festival is an independent, homegrown film festival that empowers marginalized communities, particularly Black and queer filmmakers, through media. We have screened over 180 films to thousands of folks in 70 cities and 12 countries, both virtually and in person, since we launched in 2018. You can read more about our work on our website, www.bfsfilmfest.com. And please, we encourage you, your family, and your friends to buy tickets to the festival, which is happening in just a few short days, September 4th through the 10th, virtually. So stay tuned, get excited, get ready, get comfy, and here we are for Other Worlds. All right, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. All right, before we get started, I just want to popcorn to all of our wonderful filmmakers. Thank you so much for joining us today. To introduce yourself, let us know your full name, your pronouns, and what project you've been working on and your role in that project. And I also encourage you to set an intention, or if there's anyone or anybody or any energies that are leading you in this space and in this project, et cetera, we create the space for you at this time to call on them. This is not a practice that I created myself. This is actually something that I became familiar with via Laren Alta and the Black Girl Mystic podcast. So I just want to always give credit where credit is due for these amazing practices that help create these beautiful containers. And again, my name is Janae Afia Matthews. I am the strategic director over at Black Femme Supremacy Film Festival. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. I'll also be your moderator today. And as always, my mama, Cecilia Dolores Agnes Teresa White, a woman of the water and a woman of the world in many, many ways. I know we got a lot of water spirits on the line, and that's no accident. Is here with me in spirit, Ibaye. I love her and I miss her, but she guides me through all of these processes, and I'm so glad that, you know, she's at my shoulder and here rooting myself on and all of you on today. And I'm going to popcorn it to Alexis.
Hello. Thank you, Janae, for such a beautiful introduction. I am so grateful to be sharing this space with all of these beautiful filmmakers. My name is Alexis Garcia. I'm the writer-director of Daughter of the Sea. My pronouns are she, her, and I am accompanied today, for sure, by Yemaya. She was the spirit that guided the production of my film. For those who don't know, are going to hear more about her throughout the process of this panel. She is the goddess mother of the sea, mother of all. And I'm going to popcorn it over to Ebony.
Hey, y'all. So happy to be here. My name is Ebony Blanding from Atlanta, Georgia. Pronouns are she, her, writer-director for Jordan. And I will pass it to Charlene.
Hey, y'all. My name is Charlene Carruthers. I use she and her pronouns. I'm based here in Chicago, Illinois. Very, very happy and glad to be here. Very grateful to be here. And I'm the writer and director of The Funnel. With me today, and really with me throughout the production of the film, are the rebellious, anarchist, wayward girls and folks who loved each other in hallways in Chicago's kitchenettes. And with that, I will pass it to Allegra.
Hey, everybody. I'm Allegra Earl, calling in from Brooklyn, New York. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the writer-director of Adventures. And what I carried with me through this film was community and family. They helped get it done. We were all in it together. And I'm so happy to be here with you all today. And I'm grateful for being a part of the film festival. And I'll pass it along to Monica.
Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you and be here with you on this Sunday. I'm Monica Moore-Suriagi. I'm the writer-director of La Ciguapa Siempre. I'm based in LA most of the time, but I'm in Lancaster, PA right now at my parents' house. I have my cat Emo that I drag everywhere with me, so he's here for the interview too. And I would say throughout my work, and particularly this film, my mom is very present. She's here literally upstairs, but the film is about Dominican folklore, and she's from the DR, so it's been a joy to bring that to my work and use it as a place of inspiration.
Amazing. Thank you all for sharing. And you actually shared your locations, and I forgot to share mine. I'm actually tuning in live from Baltimore, Maryland, but I spent a lot of time in Chiapas, Mexico, not too long ago, just a couple weeks ago. It feels like forever ago, and I feel like that energy is still with me too. So without further ado, let's get started. As you all know, we are here to discuss the shorts block Other Worlds, which I find to be particularly potent, that title and that energy at this time. And so I would love to hear you all's take on what that conjures up for you in relationship to your work, either, you know, generally or specifically to this film, and how you feel like it ties to what we're watching today. And feel free to unmute and go for it.
I can hop in. For me, I'm a horror filmmaker. Pretty much everything I do comes from the horror perspective genre. So that in itself usually means other worlds and scary things and creatures that do or don't exist. And I enjoy exploring that in my work. But I think it's also other worlds in a sense of here's a perspective that maybe you haven't seen before. And I try to talk about my lived experiences through a horror lens, usually reclaiming what is the scary thing And why is it the scary thing? And maybe she's not really that scary. Maybe you just deserve her wrath. Tends to be the perspective I'm coming from.
I think for me, Other Worlds is really connected to Afrofuturism, and just really being submerged in that portal, in that space. For me, it has allowed me to tap into a lot of like my ancestral connections. And it's also allowed me to look at the present day with like, I think a refreshed, revigorated perspective, if you will.
I really like this question. When I thought about the kind of world building that I wanted to do in the funnel, I knew that as a historian, as someone who also spent a long time doing community organizing, that I wanted to play with time. And for Black folks across the diaspora, time is not linear. It's not the Eurocentric concept of this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. And so, in building the worlds that my characters move through and live within, I played with time to really construct and take the viewer across time, and then also see that Black folks, the Black people in my film, are experiencing intimacy across time and ancestral connection across time. And even though they are living in different worlds, in one way you can think of it in that way, their worlds are intimately connected. And so even the other world, and I really like what you said, Ebony, about Afrofuturism, the way many of us experience time is in the future, it's in the now, it's in the past, and it's not just a domino, but it's something that's happening everywhere, all the time, all at once, like the film.
I can jump in. My approach with Other Worlds, with Adventures, was a focus on imagination. And often through imagination, you will get to other worlds, whether that's physically or in your head. And that has a way of manifesting in our real lives. So I really wanted to focus on imagination and the power of the mind, and how we can make whatever we imagine or whatever we would like to happen come into our realities.
Yes, plus one, everything that was said already. Brilliant, brilliant women on this panel. Yeah, I think the imagination, the imagining a different world, and using the medium of film to be able to create these different realities, I think was really, spoke a lot to me for what I was trying to achieve with Daughter of the Sea, because it's a spiritual film, and our spiritual world is it is so unseen. So to be able to assign visuals to it and manifest that reality, bring that reality forth through film was something that I felt really excited and challenged by. And I think for me personally, it was really important to not necessarily like make this reality intangible, because our spiritual side is so intangible. I wanted to create something that was a physical representation of this intangible existence. So I think, yeah, that's definitely the beauty of all of our projects, is that we can present a worldview that the audience hasn't seen before. And yeah, this is like such a great question, because it's like we could really go deep, but I know that this also leads into other themes that we want to hit throughout this panel. So I pass the mic back to you, Janae.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexis. That was the perfect segue to my next question, which was, in each of these works, there is this really deep relationship between the seen and the unseen as a catalyst for all types of things: growth, change, death, rebirth, etc. And I think you all were touching on that process, but could you maybe give us a little bit more insight into like what that looked like, working between the seen and the unseen, bringing the unseen to the seen, but still navigating that unseen element to make it seen, if that makes sense. So whoever wants to take that.
I'll give a stab at it. So I made this film. It was the end of 2020 and last year, and as we all know, we all experienced the pandemic, and just everything changed for everybody. And so during that time, I was like, it's still really important for me to get something done. I need to write another movie. I want to get it made. And that's why earlier I mentioned just the help and support of community and family, because this was such a bare bones shoot. I shot around my neighborhood, in my mama's house. Like, it was just very, very, let me get what I see in my head outside, and make it reality. So it was literally taking the unseen to the scene and just manifesting that work to reality. And I think that theme came along in the film, just thinking about imagination and childlike wonder, and all the places our imagination can take us, but then that also becomes our reality. So that theme, unseen and seen, it really permeated my work and my process in Adventures.
So,
go for it.
Similarly to Allegra, for me, like, this film came forth, like the idea, the download of it came forth through my spiritual practice and through prayer. Specifically, I lit a candle on Yemaya's feast day last September 7th. And that evening, the whole story flowed through me. And 3 weeks later, there was an opportunity to submit an idea for a grant. And I submitted that idea and I got the grant to make the film. And throughout the whole process, I feel the power and the presence of that guidance. And so the unseen is like truly so powerful and so present through the miracle of this film. And I think all films are miracles, but for me, it was like I was seeing with my eyes this intangible thing again of like bringing forth that spiritual power.
I think for me, the seen and the unseen, I deal with like climate matters in the short. And so just the conversations that folks are having, some folks pretending to be oblivious, maybe being oblivious, and just kind of honoring nature and honoring our duty to climate, to the world, was one part of seen and unseen. And then playtime, Allegra, you touched on it. I think in my short, just kind of journeying through what does playtime look like for Black children, and how do parents or older folks support Black children playing, and what does it look like to protect that space, and what does it look like to keep that space for yourself, especially now. I think all of us can like keep our playtime sacred. So seen and unseen is definitely something that I play with in all of my work, but this was something that got me deep in the waters, if you will.
Seen and unseen. For me, I thought about how I could use symbols throughout the funnel in order to basically point to both spiritual elements and also just connectivity again across time. And so I guess I don't want to give it away too much, but just pay close attention to different things in the film and watch it more than once, because we were very intentional about a number of visual components in the film. But then also pretty early in the film, there's an ancestor altar. And the various elements, it was really important to me that throughout the film to illustrate how illustrate Black Atlantic religions. That when we think about Black people and how many Black people practice spirituality and religion, it's not just one. Things are connected. People will combine things. Syncretism, like people will take one system of belief and combine it with a completely different one. And so there are elements of Hoodoo, elements of Yoruba, elements of Christianity, because Black people are multi-layered. We across the world, and we're not just one way. We can have a cross and Haijan in on the same spot in the house. And so I'm not an expert in all those things, but they're things that I grew up with that I didn't even know they were hoodoo until later on. I'm like, oh, my mama was practicing hoodoo and she didn't even know it was called hoodoo. And so there are many things in diasporic practices that are unnamed and are named, unseen and seen, that I felt were important And then the last thing I'll say, particularly about death, there's a one part in the film where a character says that death ain't the end. And just really leaning into this idea that, my friend Rosa Free always says, like, Black people, and she's Ghanaian American, she says, Black people are never done. Even when we're ancestors, we still have to work. And so death is not the end. You are still called upon, even after we leave like this particular plane. And so for me, it was really important to integrate as many of those elements in the funnel as possible.
Beautifully said. I think Unseen and Seen for La Ciguapa Siempre had a few different layers to it. One is like the myth of the Ciguapa. And when I was researching, a lot of it was like, she's an evil woman and she's gonna kill you. Oh my, like she kills men. And for me, it was like, but why? There's a reason. So the scene, of like, ooh, she's gonna eat your arms if you're a man. But also it's like, I think what it really represents is freedom. And as I continue to research and talk to more Dominican people and talk to more Dominican women, if you talk to men and you talk to women, you get two different versions of what the myth means. Men are like, oh, it's a woman who misleads you. And women are like, it's a woman who's going to do what needs to be done if you come into her space. And so I wanted to express that in the short of like, here's what the myth is on the surface. Here's what it really is if you go into it further. But also just exploring my own experiences of being growing up in a predominantly white space and feeling like as a kid having to like fold myself in to fit in and releasing all of that now as an adult. So I wanted to like kind of show a character that is trying to be a certain way to fit into a certain space and then realizing she does not need to do that and rejecting it for something else. So I think for me, that has been the two different versions of Seen and Unseen in this. And it's been really cool because I love the Ciguapa as I've written her and as I've explored her, and I'm excited to keep working on the real version of the myth as I expand the project.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. I feel like we're all like flowing in a similar way because my next question is, in each of your projects, there's definitely a presence of nature and spirit and their relationship with each other, whether, of course, it's our natural world, but also the ancestors, the Orisha, Omi, water, et cetera, et cetera. And I know we've already touched upon this, but I would love to hear about how you chose for that to be a through line, and also how it informed what we see, but also, again, in that unseen piece, like how you moved as the creator, as the director, as the writer, as the producer, et cetera, of these projects. And why you thought that was important as an asterisk, why you thought that was important in your other world building.
Okay. Oh, Monica, you want to start?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So the entire cast of the funnel, they're all Black people, and Black people mostly from the Midwest, and our cinematographer, our DP, producer, a lot of the above the line people are all Black women and non-binary people. And so I was like, I'm gonna at least try this going into this. I'm gonna do some of the same things I did as an organizer and how we opened up space. I think it was Alon Holt, who was a writer and a director, who told me not to forget what I learned and did as an organizer. And so we would always open up spaces with pouring libations. And so I did that with my cast. And I don't think any of them had ever done that on a film set before. It was like a different thing for them. And it was an option. So if you wanted, it's optional. You can decide to do it. Everyone participated. But I bring it up to talk about the production of the film. Like, it's one thing to see it on the other side, to see a completed film, but the actual process of making the film and the importance of recognizing our ancestors in traditions that people have different entry points and experiences with. But it was really important to me to bring in the people who started this work before us, lived in this place before us, the people who we were connected to, because I think that in turn set the energy and the tone for how we were with each other during the actual principal photography. And I could not have asked for a better cast and crew. I swear to you, I just could not have asked for a better one. And I really do believe that us having some very intentional grounding, and I even had the cast and crew set intentions on the first day of filming. I was like, I'm gonna do all this stuff and see what people say, how they react. And we just had excellent energy the entire time on the set.
To talk about like the nature perspective, my mom would always say like, I worked so hard to get away from dirt floors. Why would I want to go camping? You know, like things like that. And so I always thought that was funny. And I was not super outdoorsy, but now I'm starting to do that stuff and go camping and, you know, be outside and all that. And so I wanted to set something on a camping trip with someone who's like uncomfortable, you know, like, oh, I don't know if I want to be here, to flipping it to that is actually where she belongs, is outside, is in the woods. And, you know, he's super comfortable. This is, you know, he's used to this, flipping it to he's endangered now. So that was really fun for me to like take that and spin it around. But as for the actual shoot, to be totally honest, I don't remember it. I see pictures sometimes and I'm like, I guess I was there. I hope I said something useful. I don't know, because it was 2 overnight shoots on this ranch in close to LA, which was great. And the crew was amazing. Also mostly women, people who were just there because they believed in the story and wanted to get it done. And I looked up and there was footage. So I was like, okay, great. And, now there's something to work with. So I'm glad that it turned out that way. Not to minimize my own role in things, but at that point I was just like, I don't know, I was on autopilot or something because I don't remember most of it.
I can go next. I was thinking really critically about like the medicine that I wanted to bring forth to the world with my project. And speaking of what Allegra mentioned earlier, us coming out of the pandemic, we're still in it, but coming out of 2020 and being closed in, I was thinking about the tools that we have in nature that provide healing, because we're also going through a time of deep grief. And so with this story, I felt like I was being called by Yemaya to come to the water and to share with the audience these tools that are available to us, right? Which I think are, as children of the diaspora, we don't have a material inheritance really, other than the way that we present in the world. But we have a spiritual inheritance, and we have these spiritual tools that are available to us. And so my film is about healing, and it's about overcoming grief, and it's about being called by Yemaya to wash away that grief through the ocean. And so, yeah, those were all things that were really, present to me throughout the process of creating the film, and their motifs, throughout the film too. But yeah, that was like my main goal, was just to create something that created a little bit of healing in the world.
I don't really know how to answer, but I'll talk a little bit about like the dream sequence I kept having that inspired it. I literally would wake up to hearing sirens, like ambulance sirens or police sirens. And I stay in a neighborhood where you hear those things anyway, but I was like, nah, this is like in my head, in my living room. Then I had like another sequence of dreams where it was just like water rushing over me. And it was like so lived, these dreams. Like I was like inside of the dream in a way that I've never been before. And I remember waking up one morning, I just felt like water was coming out of my lungs. And some other things happened that just showed me the full scope of the dream. But it was at that time, I thought it was a mermaid, but it was a siren. And she was just belting out this super loud scream. That was her song. And the pathway and the folks that she was clearing out were people who were raging against Black bodies. And I remember waking up and I felt so empowered. I felt like rage was a good thing. I felt like, somebody needed to get the smoke, and she know how to like handle all of the things. So pulling into that and speaking to my Baba, and he was just like, Mama Wati is like on you, girl. Like sink in, like talk to her, do all the things. And it was just a blessing to be in that space and to be called in that space. And so to kind of like flip a lot of the pain that derived from and looking at playtime and looking at freedom and looking at, like when's the last time I really felt protected? It was with my dad. He always protected me. And remembering like fishing trips and just like all of the ecological studies that we had from him growing up as a Black man in the South and just being this country boy. And to your point, Monica, not like appreciating it then, but being in this live body now and being like, okay, I got to go back home. And the water was home for me. Nature was home for me. The land was home for me. So yeah.
That was really beautiful, Ebony, and I connect to that a lot. To make adventures, I exclusively relied on public spaces that I either drive by all the time, that are just open to us, that sometimes, a lot of people were so caught up or so busy, we don't even get to marvel in them, And I really appreciate the spaces that don't get built up, that they just stay as a public garden, they just stay as a park, because that's so necessary amongst all the tall glass buildings, being from New York. And without that, Adventures wouldn't be what it is, because my character travels, using his imagination and marvels at just the smallest things in these natural nature spaces. And yeah, that's really what informed the story, informed the writing, was how do you maintain that playtime, as you referenced it, Ebony? How do you maintain that sense of wonder, outside of childhood? Keep that with you, that sense of wonder, that sense of excitement over small things. And that was really important for me to grasp and hold on to and just keep forever. And I wanted to put that in a movie. So it's kind of like the cinematic embodiment of stopping and smelling the roses, so to speak. So nature really, really played a part in that.
Amazing. Thank you all for sharing. And I mean, as I'm on the line with you, I can really feel this like watery presence. Like the water spirits are here. As with my fishhook earrings on, like as a water baby myself, I just was like, whew, I felt it. And I just, they was like, say something. I was like, okay, I'm gonna acknowledge y'all. Hello, how y'all doing? That's also my mom as a young Cap woman. So hello, mommy, how you doing? And I just wanted to thank you, even though like we got a few more minutes, just take a moment to thank you all for allowing your people and your spirits and those energies around you that guide you to like speak through your work, and you all listening. Cause that's like, you all talked about how, you got woken up, things wouldn't leave you alone, got tapped on the shoulder. I know what that's like. And sometimes you'd be like, yo, look, I'm tired. I don't feel like I can't go on. And be like, yes, you can. Okay. Do this, and it's gonna all work out. And look where we are. So I just thank you all for being in that place of trust with the unseen and in relationship with the unseen, however that looks like for you. And now to be in this place where you get to share, as Alexa said, your medicine and your visions with the world, because we need you. We need you so much. And to close out, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I'll get the crying, so let's keep it moving, because I will bless y'all with some tears very, very easily. And it might happen, so we're just gonna flow with it. But I just wanted to close out. And again, like I said, thank you for sharing and being open to share your process around your pieces. And you all talked about African spirituality and relationship with nature and water, and maintaining the will to imagine and dream, all being these things that you wanted to tap into. And I wanted to kind of reference how we spoke at the top, to ask you, as we are building another world, or building our own other world, because we are living in the vision of somebody else's world right now as humans, and visions of white supremacy and oppression and all those things that are not good for us. And as we are taking steps to build our other world, I wanted to know if there was like a word or a phrase or a thing that you as a person would bring to that other world. What would it be?
I'm adapting La Ciguapa Siempre into a feature version, and it's been challenging writing the script because to be quite frankly, I don't want to. I don't want to write it. But what you said about kind of being like pulled and you have to do it, that is totally happening, and that is why it's almost done, because I just have to do it. But there is a phrase it's just like icy guapa, which is kind of like a woman is being facetious and you say that to tease her, or she's being annoying and you say that to tease her, or a man tries to hit on a woman and she says no, so he might say that back to her. And that is the name of the feature version of the short, is that phrase, because I'm enjoying undoing what that has meant and changing it into what the myth really means. And so I think I would bring that phrase in its real form, which is that of defiance and freedom. If you're getting called that phrase, it's because you did something that is defying what someone wanted you to do. And I think that's powerful, and I think that's cool. And I'm enjoying developing that more. And yeah, I would bring that phrase and its new reclaimed definition.
Ashe, 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 ashe. Truly, I believe there is so much power in our words and in our ability to manifest our dreams. And I encourage everyone to use that word and to reclaim it. And yeah, it means the ability to make whatever one says happen. So ashe to everyone.
Mine isn't a word, but it's a phrase. I kind of say it in every room I go into. The South got something to say. When Andre said that, I felt like he was speaking to me, and I know everyone feels like he was speaking to them because he was. I think it's just so powerful to be a Black person from the South and a Black woman from the South, and for all of us who have connections to come back to the South in some way. I think is a beautiful thing, and I've seen that in a lot of my artist friends and just in general, people returning to lineages. So yeah, the South got something to say always.
Ooh, those last two were really good. I don't know if mine is so sharp. What was coming to mind is a commitment and a refusal of anything, a commitment to and a refusal of anything short of transformation. And like that's what we actually deserve. Like our people is not what we have a right to, because that's oftentimes dependent on the organized state. It's not what we need, but it's actually what we deserve as people, is nothing short of transformation. And transformation towards dignity, not transformation towards like our demise, but transformation towards our full dignity.
I don't think mine is a specific word or a phrase either. It's more of a realization I'm kind of walking with right now. And it's tools. It's like, I feel I was born to write and create cinema. So I'm having this epiphany now of like relying more so on that writing and cinema and just leaning into that. Sometimes if there's like a lot of thoughts forming in my head, I want to talk about it. And I'm like, what, let me write about it instead. So I'm in a space now of relying on that tool that I was born with, I feel. And yeah, I'm walking into that realization and epiphany right now.
Yes, thank y'all so much for sharing. And I love that Allegra walking in it. Like I see you all walking in it and I feel you all walking in it. And I thank you for, taking those steps to be here, like right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been like a really beautiful conversation. Y'all really have just brought so much. It's been like the time has flown by. I can't even believe we've been talking for almost an hour. And bearing with me through all the technical things, but we made it. We made it. It's a lot of energy on the line. So sometimes, they gotta make their presence known. And I understand. Like I said, when I call on my mama, she shows up, including on the Wi-Fi. So hey, mommy. But to close it out, I just again wanted to thank you all for sharing and want for you all to tell us where we can see you next, where we can find you, and all that good stuff. If there are any news about your projects you want to share, this is an open space for you to do that.
I'll go. I'm hoping to, well, we're actively right now making Jordan into an episodic series. And we went to a festival and we won like an award for development. So hopefully we'll have some good news to share sooner than later. But yeah, I just want a series of like Black magical folks doing all the things, discovering all the things in the water. And hopefully that'll be on television screen sooner than later.
She just mutes herself again. That was hilarious. La Ciguapa Siempre is still screening. It's still going around. It's screening at the New York Latino Film Festival next month. So is Alexis's project as well. It is also Oscar qualifying for a 2023 Oscar. So we're just like, I don't know if you can vote, but vote for this. And yeah, in the meantime, I'm adapting it into a feature. It's got some studio support, whatever that actually means. So we'll see what happens next. But the goal is to make it into a feature film and have that be my first feature. So yeah, we're just moving towards that goal.
So I am currently writing what will either be the first episode of a limited series for The Funnel or a feature. It all depends on how it shakes out. I'm obsessed with one of our characters. I'm obsessed with all of them. They all talk to me at different points in time. But I'd love to have an episode for each character in The Funnel. What I'm currently writing right now. You can find us at thefunnelfilm.com and The Funnel Film everywhere else. And we are also screening at a number of festivals, upcoming festivals, including the 40th edition of the Chicago International LGBTQ Festival. And a number of others that I can't announce yet, but y'all can find out about them on all our socials and our website.
Adventures has also submitted to a few other film fests, so I'm still waiting, and we'll see soon. And in the meantime, I'm going to retreat into my little cubby hole and write, and just keep writing and stay quiet.
I too will be retreating into my cubbyhole to write this last quarter of the year. Daughter of the Sea was completed in June, and so we just started our festival run. Black Film Supremacy is the third festival we're playing at, and I'm so excited to be able to share with this audience. And like Monica mentioned, it'll be playing at the New York Latino National Film Festival in September. And yeah, I'm working on adapting it into a feature-length project. It's not exactly the story, but it's the world of the story, expanded to be more of a multi-generational story. And so I'm hopeful that this will be my first feature that I'm going to direct. Come on, bringing it into fruition for 2023. And yeah, I'm just so excited about all of these projects that are, I can't wait to watch all of your films. Truly, it's been so wonderful sharing the space with you. And yes, onward.
Ashe, onward, and congratulations to all of you. I speak it all over you. I feel it all coming. So like I said, when things are on TV and playing in the box office, I'm buying tickets, I'm streaming, because the work is so, so vital. Again, Ebony, Monica, Charlene, Alexis, Allegra, thank you for sharing this container with us. You know, like I said, we've been going for almost an hour, and it has been such a beautiful, fruitful, abundant conversation. But like I said, with all the watery energy on the line, I expect no less. So thank you for sharing your day with us. We look forward to keeping in touch and staying connected. You know, you're part of the Black Femme Supremacy Film Festival family now. So keep us updated on all that you're doing and how you are as a human. We love to just connect in that way. Thank you for the folks who have joining us virtually. This is a container of us, but also of you. And thank you for helping to co-create this space with us. All right, everybody. Thank you. Until, bye.